Do these two just.
Welcome to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We are located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is the 22nd day of March 2018. It's Thursday morning. It's 10:01 in the morning. And your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we will be reading the news for today's edition of the Fayettville Observer.
And we're going to begin with your weather for today. It's kind of cold outside if you've been out this morning. But today, which is Thursday, March 21st, 2018, we're going to only have a high...
That's March 22nd, Nancy.
22nd, 2018. Did I say the 23rd? Okay. March 22nd, 2018. Weather for today. Going to have a high of 57 degrees. Breezy with sunny intervals. Tonight, we're going to drop down to 33 degrees. Clear and cold. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll have a high of 60. That's good. A low of 34. Plenty of sun, but it's going to be cool. Saturday, we're only going to go up to 54. A low of 39 and a passing shower in the afternoon. Sunday, there's also a little AM rain, mostly cloudy. High of 53 and a low of 33. Monday, high of 57, a low of 31, cool with sun and clouds. Going to Tuesday, high of 61, low of 40, and here it goes. On Wednesday, a high of 71. That's right, 71, and a low of 49. And the sun is going to be out there, only partly sunny. How wonderful. Let's look at our sun and moon. Today, the sunrise was at 7:17 a.m. and the sun sets tonight at 7:29 p.m. Our moonrise today is at 11:34 a.m. and the moon sets at 12:57 a.m. Sunrise for Friday tomorrow will be at 7:15 a.m. and the sunset will be at 7:29 p.m. And our moon, the moon will be in the first moon, March 24th. The full moon will be at the end of the month, March 31st. The last moon will be April 8th, and a new moon will come on April the 15th. There's your weather for today, Thursday, March 22nd, 2018.
And your applause for today goes to Emma Claire Purdy of Clinton. Emma was named to the Fall 2017 Dean's List at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And another applause goes to Caitlin Hill of Linden. Caitlin was named to the Fall 2017 Dean's List at the University of Alabama, also in Tuscaloosa. And last of all is Austin Griswold of Pinehurst. Austin was named to the Fall 2017 Dean's List, also at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And today in history. Today is the 22nd of March. It's Thursday. This is the 81st day of 2018, and there are 284 days left in this year. Today's highlight: on March 22nd, 1968, President Lyndon Baines Johnson announced that General William C. Westmoreland, the commander of American forces in Vietnam, would leave that post to become the U.S. Army's new Chief of Staff. On today's date in history, in 1638, religious dissident Anne Hutchinson was expelled from the Massachusetts Bay Colony for defying Puritan orthodoxy. On today's date in history, In 1765, the British Parliament passed the Stamp Act to raise money from the American colonies which fiercely resisted the tax. It was repealed a year later. On today's date in 1864, hockey's first Stanley Cup championship game was played. The home team, Montreal, defeated Ottawa 3-1. On today's date in history, in 1933, during Prohibition, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed a measure to make wine and beer containing up to 3.2% alcohol legal. On today's date in history, in 1941, the Grand Coulee hydroelectric dam in Washington State officially went into operation. And finally, on today's date in 1978, Carl Walenda, the 73-year-old patriarch of the Flying Walenda's High Wire Act, fell to his death while attempting to walk a cable strung between two hotel towers in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Birthdays today. Let me take a look and see if we have any celebrity birthdays locally. And no, we do not. I just checked the master roster. So I will go with the little celebrity birthdays that we have here in the newspaper. Composer, lyricist Stephen Sondheim is 88. Actor William Shatner, beam me up, Scotty. He's 87 years old today. Writer James Patterson is 71. CNN newscaster, Wolf Blitzer, he's 70. Composer Andrew Lloyd Webber is 70. Sportscaster Bob Costas is 66. Actress Lena Olin is 63. Singer-actress Stephanie Mills is 61. Actor-comedian Keegan-Michael Key, he's 47. Actor Guillermo Diaz is 43. Actress Reese Witherspoon, that's the only one of that bunch I know. She is 42, and rapper Mims is 37, and actress Constant Wu is 36. And that wraps up the birthdays for today, 22 March 2018.
All right, what do you need to know today? Number 1, Easter in Hope Mills. Join the Hope Mills Recreation Center in celebrating Easter on Saturday. The events include breakfast with a bunny, an Easter egg hunt, and there will be crafts in the Recreation Center. Tickets must be purchased in advance. Contact the Recreation Center for more details. Breakfast with the bunny is 8:30 to 11 a.m. The egg hunt is 11:15 a.m. to noon, and the crafts are at noon. Admission is $6 per person. 2. FSU has an open house. Fayetteville State University will have an open house for prospective students and their families Saturday from 9 to 1 p.m. Registration begins at 8 a.m. The event will include visits to various academic departments and presentations by financial aid and admissions. For more information, contact the admissions office at 672-1371 or go to www.uncfsu.edu/becoming-a-student/open house. And 3, there will be a medicine drop. If you have medicine that you don't use, you want to do something with it, here, this is what you do. The 9th annual Operation Medicine Drop 2018 is Saturday. People can dispose of unused and expired prescription drugs at several pharmacies that day between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The participating pharmacies include CVS at 522 Owen Drive, CVS at 3026 Bragg Boulevard, Rite Aid at 906 Bingham Drive, Rite Aid at 7860 Cliffdale Road, and Rite Aid at 5989 Morganton Road, and at Walgreens at 3300 Ramsey Street. For more information, call 678-0116. And number 4, we have historic tours. Learn about Fayetteville's 250-year history during a horse and carriage tour Saturday. Tours leave hourly from the Cool Spring Downtown District Office at 222 Hay Street from 1 to 5 p.m. Call 223-1089 for tickets and information. Space is limited. Tickets are $25 per person, $20 for military, and $15 for children under 12. Now we want to hear from you. Please submit your events in writing at least 10 days in advance. You can email your calendar at fayobserver.com or fax your details to 486-3545. For questions, call 486-3500.
And your public safety today. In Cumberland County, the arrests that were made: Earl Wayne Hodges, age 30, of Tanner Lane in Octreeville, was charged Wednesday with breaking and entering, safe cracking, and possession of firearm by a felon. Earl Wayne Hodges' bail was set at $25,000. Katrina Diana Jones, age 43, of the 7600 block of Branchwood Circle, was charged Wednesday with 2 counts each of larceny of chose in action, obtaining property by false pretense and uttering, and 1 count each of possessing stolen property and forgery. Katrina Diana Jones's bail was set at $8,000. Christina Nicole Landreth, age 27, of the 600 block of River Wind Drive in Spring Lake, was charged Wednesday with uttering a forged instruction and attempting to obtain property by false pretense. Christina Nicole Landreth's bail was set at $5,000. J. Lynn Douglas Ray, age 22, of the 3500 block of Sweet Bay Circle, was charged Wednesday with 3 counts of breaking and entering a motor vehicle. J. Lynn Douglas Ray, age 22, his bail was set at $65,500. Eric Deshaun Overton, age 27, of the 7000 block of Zephyr Road, was charged Wednesday with assault inflicting serious injury, strangulation, larceny from person, and misdemeanor assault on a female. Eric Deshaun Overton's bail information was not available for this newspaper. Sierra Chantel Williams, age 22, of the 400 block of Shoreline Drive, was charged Tuesday with vehicle theft, uttering a forged instrument, and obtaining property by false pretense. Sierra Chantel Williams' bail was set at $70,000. Eric Jermaine Thomas, age 46, of the 6500 block of Cessna Drive, was charged Tuesday with being a fugitive from justice. Eric Jermaine Thomas's bail information was not given again to this newspaper. And finally, there was one break-in at Wickersham Road, located at on the 7000 block, that was reported at 8:26 p.m. Tuesday. They reported that nothing was missing. And this wraps up today, ladies and gentlemen, your public safety information in Cumberland County.
Okay, they're here again on Daybreak, Livewire Observer staff. We have signal of positive change coming to busy intersection. Question: what can be done, or are there plans to do something about the traffic situation at MacArthur Road and Walker Street? The flow of traffic off the outer loop, the future Interstate 295, is so heavy you can only get out if someone stops and lets you out. Even when I leave early because of this, it causes me to be late. If there was an emergency and someone needed to get out in a hurry, there would be no way. From CM in Fayetteville. Answer: Livewire contacted the NC Department of Transportation to find out what, if anything, could be done. Andrew Barksdale, a DOT spokesman, said the department has looked at the intersection and determined that yes, a traffic signal is needed to improve safety and vehicle flow at the intersection. But don't get too excited. The spokesman said DOT is looking for money to pay for the project. It will require a design for the new configuration. The final step will be relocating the utilities at the intersection to make enough room for new signals and poles. We don't know yet when we will install the new traffic signal, Barksdale said. And that was by Nancy McCleary. Now, Livewire seeks to answer your questions of general interest and consumer topics. Initials are used to identify questions when names are given. You may contact Livewire at livewire@fayetteobserver.com or at 486-3516.
And here's your little news in brief. There was one person dead in Anhinga court shooting. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office are investigating a fatal shooting that happened Wednesday afternoon off Crystal Springs Road. Deputies responded at 5:37 p.m. to a reported shooting on the 1300 block of Anhinga Court in the Brookshire subdivision, a sheriff's office release said. The shooting victim was found unresponsive and pronounced dead at the scene. Homicide investigators were questioning occupants at the home late Wednesday and at the 1300 block of Anhinga Court Road. There is no other information available in this shooting. Pardon me. A suspect was charged in an attempted murder. A Fayetteville man was charged Wednesday with trying to kill a man during a robbery that happened in 2017, according to warrants in the Cumberland County Magistrate's Office. Marcus Aurechio McKnight, age 30, of the 1900 block of Ashton Road, is charged with attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon with the intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. Also charged with robbery with a dangerous weapon and possession of a firearm by a felon. On the 5th of November 2017, Marcus McKnight allegedly kicked in the door of a residence on the 4300 block of Forest View Drive in Wellmar Heights neighborhood, just off of Ireland Drive. According to warrants, once Marcus McKnight was inside of the residence, he shot Keeson Cook in the hand and in the stomach. Marcus McKnight then stood over Cook, who apparently fell to the ground, and decided to shoot him in the neck. Marcus McKnight then went through Cook's pockets, warrant said, and took an undetermined amount of money and or an unknown amount of drugs. Marcus Aurechio McKnight's bail has been set at $750,000. That's $750,000. Human trafficking charges have been filed. A Clinton man is accused of forcing a woman into prostitution by coercing her with a controlled substance, according to warrants in the Cumberland County Magistrate's office. Andrew Francisco Dahl, age 26, of the 1900 block of Tyndall Grove Road, was charged Wednesday with 4 counts each of human trafficking an adult victim and promoting prostitution. The woman was held in sexual servitude from September 1st until December 25th, the warrant said. Andrew Francisco Dahl is accused of recruiting the woman to perform sexual acts in return for her heroin. Andrew Francisco Dahl collected a total of $410 for the 4 occasions of which he is charged, warrant said. Andrew Francisco Dahl's bail was set at $100,000. And finally, a soldier is charged in a sexual assault. A Fort Bragg soldier is accused of physically and sexually assaulting a woman, according to arrest warrants at the Cumberland County Magistrate's office. Noah Lee Grider Jr., age 22, was charged Wednesday with 2 counts each of first-degree sex offense and misdemeanors sexual battery, and 1 count each of first-degree forcible rape, first-degree kidnapping, and assault by strangulation. These offenses happened on January 19th and involved a Fayetteville woman who was strangled and she lost consciousness, warrant said. The Fayettville Observer does not identify victims of sexual assaults. Noah Lee Grider Jr., age 22, is assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 4th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 82nd Airborne Division. His bail was set at $150,000.
All right. Now this is a happy article about Southview's Simmons accepts the Big Ten offer. Pine Forest quarterback Julian Hill signs up with Campbell University. Sammy Batten wrote this article. A childhood dream is becoming reality for Southview receiver Emery Simmons. Simmons will be a senior next fall for the Tigers, accepted a football scholarship to play for Big Ten Conference member Indiana earlier this week. The 6'3", 190-pounder chose the Hoosiers over an offer from East Carolina, where his father Dale played running back. I had a talk with my dad, and he told me to go where best suits me, Simmons said. I grew up watching Ohio State play football, and I wanted to play in the Big Ten Conference. But when Indiana, offered me in November, it came out of the blue. I went up to visit there the 1st of March. Head coach Tom Allen and receivers coach Grant Hurd made it feel like a second home to me. They told me I was number 1 on their board at receiver, and that meant a lot to me and my family. So I decided to go ahead and give it a shot there. Simmons was the 3rd leading receiver among Cumberland County players last season. He caught 55 passes for 997 yards and 12 touchdowns to earn first-team All-Patriot Athletic 4A Conference and second-team Best of 910preps.com honors as a junior. Simmons also averaged 25.7 yards on 16 kickoff returns. As a sophomore, Simmons played at Village Christian Academy, where he was first team North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association Division III All-State selection and a second team All-Cape Fear Region choice. Southview coach Rodney Brewington said receptions like the one Simmons makes last season against Grays Creek are why he was number one on Indiana's prospect list of receivers. Quarterback Donovan Brewington was scrambling and the ball was underthrown, Rodney Brewington said. The defensive back had what you'd call a sure interception. Emery had the kid beat, but he came back and literally jumped over the defensive back and took it out off of his hands. We watched that play 7 or 8 times in a row in the film sessions later because it was such a great catch. Although Simmons' offer list is expected to expand this summer, he said he is solid with Indiana. He plans to graduate from Southview next December so he can enroll at Indiana in January 2019. The Trojans quarterback heading to Campbell. Simmons wasn't the only Cumberland County player to announce his college football future this week. Pine Forest senior quarterback Julian Hill signed a national letter of intent with Campbell University on Tuesday to join the football championship subdivision program as a preferred walk-on. The 6'4", 220-pounder was hindered by knee injuries throughout his prep career with the Trojans and didn't play a game as a senior, but he appeared in 27 games from his freshman to junior season, amassing 3,592 yards and 30 touchdown passing. He's one of the hardest working kids I've been around in 23 years at this school, Pine Forest coach Bill Sakava said. The more difficult the challenge, the harder he works. Part of what we get into as high school coaches is we are teachers also. So we split our time with our team and students. When he gets into the program where he can develop and work on the little things every day, he's the type who will drive off at that. That's just a motivation he has. Hill joins 2 other Cape Fear region prospects in Campbell's recruiting class of 2018. Cape Fear's Justice Galloway Valaquez and Whiteville's Monchafia Cathney signed with the Camels in February. Both are expected to play linebacker. Now, staff writer Sammy Batten can be reached at sbatten@fayetteobserver.com, or you could call her at 486-3534.
The time now is 10:30 in the morning on Thursday, the 22nd of March, 2018, and I would like to remind each and every one of you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service. It is a United Way partner agency, and we broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University. And our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services, and when making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. And I would like to also remind you that coming up next month is the 8th annual golf tournament. It's called the We Read Radio, Read to the Blind Through Radio. It is a golf tournament, and it will be on the 7th of April 2018, Saturday, at Gates 4 Golf and Country Club. It starts at 11 a.m. I believe that's the time for registration, and tee-off will be at 12 p.m. You can support this event with $100, and your sponsorship will include additional advertisement and whole signage. A corporate sponsorship costs just $300 and will include all of the above, and 4 players will be eligible to play for free. Remember, this event starts on the 7th of, or is on the 7th of April, 2018, that's Saturday, at the Gates 4 Golf and Country Club. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or call the toll-free number 844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are proud to serve you today.
All right, here we go. To Bladen, to Elizabethtown. Bladen home search yields drugs and guns. This is by staff writer Nancy McCleary. In Elizabethtown, an Elizabethtown man on probation was arrested Monday after a search of his home turned up at least 5 guns and marijuana, a Bladen County Sheriff's Office release said. Terrell Monquiel, or Thuggy Shipman, age 39, of the 2100 block of Twisted Hickory Road, was charged with 5 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon, 1 count of possession of a stolen firearm, 1 count of possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver marijuana, 1 count of possession of marijuana, and 2 counts of misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. The search at the home, about 2 miles south of Dublin, was conducted by the probation officers from the NC Department of Public Safety with assistance from the Sheriff's Office narcotics officers, a canine unit, and patrol deputies. Shipman's home was known as the Tree to those dealing in and buying drugs, the release said. Several weapons and a quantity of marijuana were seized during the search. One of the weapons that was recovered was reported stolen in 2010 from Cumberland County, the release said. Weapons and drugs tend to go hand in hand, Sheriff James McVicker said in the release. It's not unusual for us to find stolen weapons in the possession of drug dealers who will take them in trade for the narcotics they are selling, McVicker said. Stolen weapons are entered into a database identified by the make, model, and serial numbers, and are not removed from it until they are found. That is why it is so important for gun owners to keep a record of their weapons, McVicker said. This gun was on the street for almost 8 years, and now it can be returned to its rightful owner when the case is disposed of in court. Bail for Shipman, who is being held in the Bladen County Detention Center, was set at $500,000. Now you can reach staff writer Nancy McCleary at nmccleary@fayetteobserver.com.
We have a little something that's interesting from our own Myron B. Pitts, a columnist at the Fayetteville Observer. Myron tells us that scan night sky at Fayetteville State University stargazing events. So here's Myron saying, oh, this parenting thing, you learn a little bit every day. Like if you're debating with your 5-year-old son some aspect of the universe. And you know, Google is your friend. Sam Pitts, my son, went through a phase of his 4s where he watched on his iPad video after video on the solar system. Make a middle note. I was not doing the same thing that little Sam Pitts was doing. One morning, as we were getting ready for school and work, he for school and me for work, he mentions Uranus. that it has 27 moons. Well, I did a solar system science project for 3 years straight at the Morganton Road Elementary School when I was a child, and my mom helped me pin white beads from an old necklace onto styrofoam balls. Each bead was a satellite, aka or also known as a moon. So I knew the solar system, and there was no way Uranus has that many moons. I told my firstborn, Sam Pitts, and the second of all, please be careful with that word Uranus. Some people say Uranus, but most like to say Uranus. Is it potato or potato or tomato or tomato? Is it Uranus or Uranus? At any rate, thank you, Myron Pitts, for that. Anyway, Myron says, I figured scientists had discovered a few more since the 1980s, but there was no way in the world that there were 27 moons. This exchange with Samuel, now it's Samuel, not Sam, this exchange with Samuel, my son, Samuel Pitts, I mark as our very first debate, this little discussion about the solar system. In a classic early daddyhood moment that will be forever stamped in shame, I haughtily informed little Sam Pitts, you are confused, son. So the day progressed. I went to work to write up my little stories, and he went to Cumberland Road Elementary School to do his little works, quote unquote, which is what they call his educational task in pre-K, his little works. However, in the evening, our debate resumed, with little Sam Pitts bringing it up again. Uranus's 27 moons. And I said, nope, there's no way, son, that Uranus has 27 moons. Then he brought to me his iPad. Oh, I said. Turns out they found lots of stuff out there in space since the last time I did a deep dive into the solar system, and among them, the 27 or so moons that were orbiting Uranus. I should have known better than to debate with a 5-year-old kid. So here's a kid who goes on and on about make-make. I think he means some kind of fish or cartoon character, and he's talking about a dwarf planet. And both he and Helen Ann have always been fascinated by our own moon. I assume that Helen Ann is Myron Pitt's little daughter. At any rate, they're fascinated by our own moon orbiting Earth, especially when our moon seems close up and huge. We can all get a deeper understanding of what's out there during public observing at Fayetteville State University, sponsored by FSU's Planetarium. And this event is every first Saturday starting April 7th from sunset to about 9:30 p.m. The Lions Science Building, where the big telescope resides, is under renovation, so the observing will happen through smaller telescopes on the soccer field off Langdon Street on campus. Joe Cabas, FSU's planetarium manager, and FSU astronomers will be on hand to explain to everyone out there on the soccer field what they are looking at. Also helping out will be the high school and middle school students in the STAR docent program, which helps young people to learn about astronomy. One faint fuzzy thing looks like another faint fuzzy thing if you don't know what you're looking at, said Joe Cabas, the FSU planetarium manager. And he says that all with a little chuckle. But don't think it's going to be all fuzz on first Saturdays. The night sky will offer up plenty of striking sights for the duration of the public observing events which run all the way to the 3rd of November 2018. In early April, probably the most interesting thing will be the Orion Nebula, says Joe Cabbs, FSU's planetarium manager. You'll still be able to see it by then. Later on in the summer, it's Jupiter. Mars is going to be at one of its closest approaches, and in the fall, Saturn will be fantastic. Other sites include distant galaxies, star clusters, and naturally, our moon. Astronaut was one thing Sam recently said he wanted to be when he grows up. He also said he wanted to be a construction vehicle driver, daddy, and a doctor. Samuel Pitts says he will not do all of the jobs at once, just once a day, one per day, according to him. I was glad to hear Daddy made the list. Even if his nearest role model for that particular job needs to brush up on his planets. And I believe little Sammy Pitts was referring to me. As for Sam, he still thinks I know what I'm talking about. Not even a week after the Uranus debacle, he asked me how many moons Venus had, and I was frankly relieved that I still had some credibility on the subject of the solar system. But I Googled it first just to make sure, and still, Venus had 0 moons. None. I declared proudly, thumping my chest several times like a gorilla in the jungle. All was right in the solar system again, according to me. If you would like to discuss this article with Myron B. Pitts, you may call him at 910-486-3559.
And if you like to run, the All-American Runners would like you to join them. It will be a sight to behold. Thousands of runners lining up in downtown Fayetteville, setting off on Sunday morning for the 5th annual All-American Marathon. They'll run from downtown, up Hay Street and Morganton Road, then end to the All-American Freeway and on to Fort Bragg, where the race will end on the main post parade field. This is a serious race, an event with national stature. It grows every year. This year, race organizers are expecting nearly 4,000 runners who will participate in the marathon, a half marathon, and a 5K race. This isn't just an Army event. There are runners signed up from all 50 states. The race is also a great piece of partnership between the city and Fort Bragg. Post and city officials work closely to make it a smooth and fun event. Fayetteville Police Chief Gina Hawkins says more than 180 officers from all over the jurisdictions are helping keep the event safe, and about 500 volunteers have signed up to help. Everyone involved in the race deserves a big cheer, which is exactly what all of us should do on Sunday morning, starting with the race start at 7, that's 7 a.m. downtown. Let's line the route and cheer on the runners, the volunteers and the police, and the other first responders who are making this great event happen.
And here's a little good tip that they had in the newspaper that I would like to share with each and every one of you out there. It's advice for easier meat cutting. Yes, that's what I said, meat cutting. Tips for slicing meat. Put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes. Cold, slightly frozen meat is easier to cut into thin slices. And by all means, you must use a sharp knife. Use a meat carving knife, which is much thinner than other chef knives and able to carve thin, precise slices. And then, slice against the grain. The grain of your meat has to do with the direction of the muscle fibers, which look like lines. Run that run along your piece of meat. Some cuts of meat are easier to see the muscle fibers than on others. By cutting against the grain of the meat, you are shortening those muscle fibers, making the meat more tender and easy to chew. And the last bullet here, for each and every one of you, let the butcher do it for you. Yes, butchers cut a lot of meat and they know what they're doing. So don't be afraid to ask your butcher to slice your meat. And ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, that is the good tip advice for easier meat cutting for the day. What do you got, Nancy?
Did you know that already?
Yes, we did. It's very hard to find the grain, though, in hamburger.
Why is that?
Well, it's all ground up. Yes, Nancy?
Excuse me. Well, you know, this is the month for women. And Kathleen Parker's telling us an army of women heads for the swamp. How many times have we heard that this is the year of the woman? Let's just say several. Each decade for the past century or so seems to have presented a fresh feature to justify yet another proclamation of historic import. From women's suffrage in 1920 to the pill in 1960 and to legalized abortion in 1973 to Gloria Steinem and Miss Magazine 1972 to reviving Ophelia 1994, fast forwarding to the recent pink-capped Women's March 2017 and the Me Too movement 2017, women have been pushing their way forward to reach parity with men. Many of the original goals have been reached. Women now outnumber men in college, graduate schools, and medical and law schools. 3 of the 9 Supreme Court justices are female, and incrementally women are reaching the dubious objective of serving alongside men in combat roles. But one area where women remain underrepresented is in the state legislatures, governor's offices, and the U.S. Congress, the final frontiers for the battles that matter most. If intentions become reality in November, then 2018 really may be the year of the woman. And to whom should we pay homage? None other than President Donald J. Trump. Thanks to a series of issues and comments underscoring his apparent contempt for women who aren't subservient to his appetites, political or otherwise, the weaker sex is fighting back. At least 430 women are running or are likely to run for the House this year, 339 Democrats, 92 Republicans, according to the Center for American Women and Politics. 2 years ago, the number at this point was 212. On the Senate side, an astonishing 50 women are running or are likely to run, twice the number as in 2016. In some states, the deadline for filing hasn't occurred yet. More staggering still, Emily's List, a Democratic organization that supports only pro-choice women, reports having received 34,000 requests this year for information about running for public office. Let me say it again, 34,000. In 2016, only about 920 made similar queries, and that was record-breaking. Republicans have plenty to worry about with this range of interest and momentum. If women can flip 23 seats from red to blue, Democrats can take back the House. Given the level of intensity, this seems every bit as likely in 2018 as it was for the Republicans in 2010, when the midterms saw a surge of Tea Party candidates who ran primarily against Obamacare and won. The Republican-led Senate could also be in jeopardy if Democrats can keep all 10 of their female senators in place and also win 2 seats with candidates being backed by Emily's list. Jackie Rosen of Nevada and Republican Kristen Sinema of Arizona, the Senate would also turn blue. That's a lot of ifs. But again, intensity favors women this year. And candidates such as Rosen, computer programmer currently in a dead heat with incumbent Senator Dean Heller, makes clear that she is running against Trump. We can find smart solutions in Washington, she says in a fundraiser plea on her campaign website, but only if we stand up to Donald Trump's hatred, bigotry, and narcissism. Sinema, however, has taken a different approach, crediting her hard work as well as help from family, church, sometimes even the government, from her rise from childhood homelessness to the House of Representatives. If she secures the Senate nomination, she would probably face a tough opponent in Republican Kelly Ward, who touts herself as very conservative, and whom John McCain defeated last time around. But Ward is also known for her brashness. When McCain's brain tumor was discovered, Ward said that he should retire and that she should be considered as his replacement. Although the national momentum is being driven primarily by Democrats and Republicans aren't as likely to criticize the president, Republican women aren't dwindling their thumbs. The Center for American Women in Politics reports 92 GOP women are running for the House, 21 for the Senate, and 31 for governorships. And with candidates such as Representative Martha McSally, a retired pilot and commander in the United States Air Force who loves dogs, the conservative female stereotype has been forever shattered. In a perfect world, voters would choose candidates without consideration of gender, but clearly we do not live in such a world, which has been made worse by the current occupant in the White House and his supporters in Congress. The scope and magnitude of Trump's offensiveness to many women cannot be overestimated, nor would it be wise to underestimate women's determination to clean house and the Senate. They've had it. The swamp ain't nothing yet. A Washington Post columnist Kathleen Parker's email address is kathleenparker@washpost.com.
And here is a letter to the Observer. The title of it is Interrogation Tactics Are Necessary. I am outraged at the commentary in Sunday's Observer of a former recidivist criminal and alleged former employee of our clandestine service, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. John Kiriakou, I went to prison for disclosing the CIA's torture techniques. Well, I'd like to say that I served honorably with the CIA from the mid-60s through the early 70s. This by way of establishing bona fides. It is egregious for him being John Kiriakou, to write about that which got him imprisoned and for which he had signed a security agreement not to divulge sources and methods of technique. I acknowledge freedom of the press, but hold you, Fayetteville Observer, accountable for not vetting this reasonable credibility for printing his vile, salacious, and slanderous attack on the honorable and outstanding future director of the Central Intelligence, Gina Haspel. For the reader's information, our enemy is very good at protecting themselves from those who disagree and report on their activities. Our enemies do this by ferreting them from among their ranks and terminating their association with prejudice, and they kill them viciously. Therefore, in order to find out their plans for killing us being Americans, our intelligence officers must resort to tactics for which they have fear and will talk once captured. Then we can thwart their plans and prevent death to Americans. How can anyone argue the means when it saves lives of those non-combatants? In this letter to the Observer on interrogation tactics that are necessary was written by Rodney Ward of Pinehurst. The Fayetteville Observer welcomes your letters. Please write about current topics of general interest. Letters will be edited and cannot exceed 250 words. Include your name, your street address, and your daytime phone. Your name and hometown will be published. No poetry, open or anonymous letters. We encourage and expect civility. 4 weeks must elapse between letters from the same writer. Letters must be original by the person who signs the letter and exclusive to our newspaper. Write your letter to the Observer to editorial page, editor, the Fayetteville Observer, Post Office Box 849, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28302, or you can email eletters@fayobserver.com. I would like to take this time to remind you that this is the North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Partner Way agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC, Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. I would also like to take this time to remind you about our 8th annual golf tournament. Yes, that's right. It's called, the title of it is We Read Radio, Read to the Blind Through Radio. This is our 8th annual golf tournament, and it will be on Saturday, the 7th of April, 2018, at Gates 4 Golf and Country Club. The registration time is 11 a.m. in the morning. The tee-off will be at 12 noon. With your support of $100, your sponsorship will include additional advertisement and hole signage. For $300, you will receive a corporate sponsorship that will include all of the above, and 4 players will be eligible to play for free. Any donation is tax deductible. Again, this is the 8th annual golf tournament. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are proud to serve you today. The time now is 11 o'clock in the morning. It's the 22nd of March, 2018. It's Thursday.
Going to begin with the death notices. This is Thursday, March 22nd, 2018, the Fayetteville Observer. The following deaths have been reported. See upcoming editions of the Fayetteville Observer for complete obituary information. In Cumberland County, Larry Haddon, age 62, of Fayetteville, Unity Funeral Services of Fayetteville. Donna Jean Upthegrove, 79, of Fayetteville, Affordable Cremations of North Carolina. Devin Nell David Scully, age 47, of Fayetteville, Sullivan Highland Funeral Service and Crematory. Leola Johnson, age 67, of Fayetteville, Cunningham and Sons Mortuary. The Cape Fear Region, Jerry L. Armstrong, age 62, of Rayford, Purcell Funeral Home, Southern Climes. James Arthur Price, age 87, of Greensboro, formerly of Dunn, Dafford Funeral Home in Dunn. Amber Jean Piggy Carter, age 33, of Newton, formerly of Cumberland County, Burke Mortuary. Lacey C. Shaw, age 69, of St. Paul's, McCoy and Sons Mortuary. Donna J. Osley, age 68, of Dunn, Skinner and Smith Funeral Home. In our funerals today, Shirley Woods, age 82, of Fayetteville, 12:30 p.m., Wiseman Mortuary Chapel. The burial, Sandhill State Veterans Cemetery, Wiseman Mortuary. Lily Shaw, age 87, of Fuquay Varina, 10 a.m., the gravesite service. Burial at the Lafayette Memorial Park, Butler Funeral Home in Stedman. Louise White, age 83, of Fayetteville, 11 a.m., St. Luke AME Church, and the burial will be at Lafayette Memorial Park, Wiseman Mortuary. Isaac O'Toole, age 78, of Rayford, 12 p.m., Galatia Presbyterian Church, Crumpler Funeral Home from Rayford. Moving to Cumberland County, Karen Faye Ingram Hall, 74, died Tuesday, March 20th, 2018. Funeral will be at 2 o'clock p.m. Friday, March 23rd, 2018 at Sullivan Highland Funeral Services, with visitation an hour prior to the service, and the burial will be at Lafayette West Cemetery. Otto Leola Williams from Fayetteville, age 83, died Wednesday, March 14th, 2018. The funeral will be Friday at 10 a.m., the Wiseman Mortuary. The viewing at the funeral home Thursday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., and the burial will be at Sandhill State Veterans Cemetery, the Wiseman Mortuary. Eunice Trogdon Hill, daughter of the late Edmund Daniel and Lollier Barfield Trogdon, died Tuesday, March 20th, 2018, at the age of 93. Sullivan Highland Funeral Service and Crematory. Pat Lopper, Mr. Pat Lopper of 325 North Cool Springs Street, died Sunday, March 18th, 2018 at Cape Fear Valley Medical Center at the age of 95. Lafayette Funeral Home in Rayford takes care of him. Larry T. Weaver Sr., age 76, passed away peacefully Monday, March 19th. And he will be using the Cornerstone Funeral at Home. This is in South 1st Street, Nashville, Tennessee. So you can call them there. Retired Tech Sergeant Earl Robertson Jeffries, age 81, of Fayetteville, passed away on Friday, March 16th, 2018. Services are entrusted to Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home. Charles Wendell Council, of Fayetteville, age 62, died Saturday, March 17th. His funeral will be Saturday, 11 a.m. at the First New Light Baptist Church, White Oak. And the visitation will be at the Colvin Funeral Home of Lumberton, Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The burial will be at the church cemetery, Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Gaines Lee Ford, age 60, of Fayetteville, died Friday, March 16, 2018. His funeral will be Friday at 3 p.m. at the Colvin Funeral Home Chapel. Visitation, Colvin Funeral Home Chapel, Thursday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory.
And in the region and elsewhere, William Jennings Billy Hare, born in Cedar Creek and long-standing resident of Elizabethtown, North Carolina for over 90 years, was a proud Navy veteran of World War II and an upstanding member of the community and a highly celebrated leader in the Bladen County school system, serving as a teacher, principal, and superintendent for over 30 years. For over 40 years. A visitation will be held on Saturday, 24 March from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Elizabethtown Christian Activity Center, followed by services held at the Elizabethtown Baptist Church at 1 p.m. and a burial with full military honors at Elizabethtown City Cemetery following the funeral services. The family will receive friends at the family home located at 138 Coley Road in Elizabethtown. That is for William Jennings Billy Hare. Betty Jean Martin Gagnon, age 82, of Rayford, passed away on Wednesday, 14 March 2018. A funeral service will be held at 12:30 p.m. Friday on the 23rd of March 2018 in the Rogers and Brees Funeral Home Chapel with the Reverend Archie Behringer officiating. The burial will follow at the Sand Hill State Veterans Cemetery. The family will receive friends from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. prior to the service at the funeral home. The services have been entrusted to the Rogers and Brees Funeral Home. Bobby Joe Cook, age 72, of Lumberton, died Sunday, 18 March 2018. The funeral will be on Friday at 2 p.m. at the Shady Grove Baptist Church. The visitation will be at the Bladen Gaskins Funeral Home on Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The burial will be at the Bladen Memorial Gardens, and the Bladen's Gaskins Funeral Home has been entrusted with those funeral services. Carolyn Ruth Baldwin, age 61, was chosen to be one of God's angels to be taken home with the Lord on 11 March 2018 at Highsmith Rainey Specialty Hospital in Fayetteville with the one she held dear by her bedside. A